Sometimes he sold rice, sometimes he worked as a laborer, sometimes he found. He ran away from home 4 times and got nothing but fraud. But despite this, he manufactured his own car. In the beginning, its price and quality were so low that Time made fun of him and forced him to flop. He had become accustomed to climbing up and falling back to the ground not once but many times. And this habit made him so strong that finally this boy became the founder of the world's third largest car manufacturing company, Hyundai. But how did he end up? Welcome back to Past Empires videos once again. Viewers, Chung Ju-yung was born in 1915 in a village called Tangchan in Korea. This village is now in North Korea. At that time, the whole of Korea was a single country ruled by Japan. Chung was the eldest of his 7 siblings, and due to poverty, the entire family worked in the fields. At the age of just 14, Chung had to leave school due to poverty and started working in the fields with his parents. He worked in the fields all day long, but he earned so much money that even after working, he had to go to bed hungry for many days. This situation made him wonder if he would spend his whole life in this state. He was fed up with his life and ultimately he ran away from home and went to Koan City, 100 kilometers away. There he started working with construction workers. He worked hard but earned little money. But even in this situation he was very happy because first of all he could spend the money he was earning alone, and secondly he was now free. But this freedom could only last for 2 months. His parents, who were looking for him, arrived in Koan and found him and took him back to the village. They took away the happiness that had come to Ching's life for the first time and sent him back to work in the fields. But in reality, he had tasted the taste of city life. He did not want to live a village or farm life again. After that, he tried to run away twice again, but he was caught and returned to the village to work. One year, the harvest was very poor and there was a shortage of food in the entire village. It got to the point where he had to go hungry for many days. Chung thought that it was enough. He would not stay here under any circumstances. Now he started planning to run away from home for the 4th time, and this time it was his last attempt. This time he ran away and reached Seoul, which is the capital of South Korea today. It was as if he had made it his life's goal to leave the village and settle in the city. Then of course he had to do some work. After coming to Seoul, he did not leave any work. He worked as a factory worker in construction work and even did cleaning work. One good thing about him was that he did whatever he did with great dedication. After some time, he got a job delivering rice to a rice shop. Now he started delivering to people's homes on a bicycle. Due to this, the sales of the shop increased a lot and the shop owner was happy and gave Chand the job of the shop owner. He was made a manager. This was his first job in which he did not have to work any labor, and he increased the sales of the shop to a considerable extent. In the meantime, the shop owner fell ill and was no longer able to run the shop, so he sold his shop to Ching for a small price. The boy who had run away from home 4 times and worked in the fields became the owner of his shop at the age of only 22. He worked hard at his shop, and in a short time his rice shop was considered the best shop in the area. He was very happy, but in the meantime an incident happened and his small happiness was about to turn into sorrow. On July 7, 1937, a Japanese soldier disappeared somewhere near the Marco Polo Bridge, and to find him, Japanese soldiers asked for permission to search for him in China. But when China refused to give them permission, a clash started between the two, which is known in history as the Second Sino-Japanese War. This war continued for the next 8 years, and as a result, there was a severe shortage of rice in Japan and Korea. Now, because Korea was also under the control of the Japanese Imperial Army at that time, the Japanese government took over rice shops throughout Japan and Korea to meet the shortage. These stores included Chung's rice store, and now he was unemployed once again. His 2 years of hard work, his savings, everything multiplied from zero, but Chung did not give up. He now started looking for a job that the Japanese army could not capture. He shortlisted many ideas and finally he planned to open a car repair shop. But the problem was that Chung did not have even a little money to start this job. He took a loan of 3,000 won and started a new business called Edo Service Garage. But as he had thought, it turned out exactly the opposite. They say that trouble does not come before it comes. Chung's new garage suddenly caught fire. The garage and all the cars parked in it were also engulfed in fire, and Chung was responsible for all the damage. Chung was in big trouble this time. He had to pay both the loan of 3,000 won and the loss of customers. But he did not give up. He took another loan of 3,500 won, opened the garage again, and slowly, he managed to cover all the losses. Now he focused on the growth of the business. For the next 2 years, Chung continued to grow rapidly. He started giving jobs to people in his garage. He had 70 to 80 people working for him. The growth had been so great that he had called his entire family from the village and settled in Seoul City. But another test came. At that time, World War II was going on and Chung was also participating in this war. Japan needed workshops to make war equipment, and that is why the Japanese government also started taking control of the workshops. Eventually, Chung's garage was again taken over by the Japanese government, but this time Chung was not at zero because he had learned from the previous loss and had saved 50,000 won so that he could start another business. After a short time, World War II ended, and with it, the Japanese government over Korea. The biggest obstacle in Chung's path had also been removed. Korea was now divided into two parts. As soon as the situation between North Korea and South Korea normalized, Chung returned to Seoul in 1946 and started a car repair business again. This time with a new identity and a new name, he named the business Hyundai Auto Service. This is a Korean word that means modern. Now Seoul was part of South Korea, which was under American influence. American forces were often present in South Korea, and Chung saw that the American army had to construct buildings to house the American forces. He thought that if he started a construction business, he could make a lot of progress. That is why in 1947 he formed a construction company called Hyundai Civil Works. The construction company initially got the job of constructing small houses or building a few kilometers of roads, which is enough for any new business, but Chung wanted to get big projects, but circumstances once again put a brake on his thinking. On June 25, 1950, North Korea invaded South Korea with the support of the Soviet Union. Seoul City was close to the North Korean border, so Chung felt threatened and fled Seoul to Busan. But this time too, Chung did not give up. He assessed the situation and started thinking of a scheme to make a profit from the war situation. He saw that the US Army had come to help South Korea and needed tennis warehouses and some buildings, etc., to house the army. Chung started the construction business again and offered the American officials that if the budget was right, he would do any kind of work. America could provide construction services because it was a superpower and budget was never a problem for them. American officials started giving orders to Chung's company. Chung and his team worked hard day and night to complete every project. The advantage of this was that the war was over, but a good working relationship had been established between the Americans and Chung because Chung was close to the Americans. So a good relationship was also established between Chung and the South Korean government. Many roads and bridges were destroyed in this war. The South Korean government gave projects for their reconstruction to Chung's company Hyundai. Chung's company had developed so much that mega projects like dams were also built by this company. South Korea's largest dam swing was also constructed by Hyundai, and the largest Gyeongbo Expressway there was also the work of this company because Chung's relationship was good with the South Korean government and the Americans also liked him. So in construction, he could easily import used heavy machinery from the USA. Due to good relations, he was the first to get contracts. The construction company was already established, but Chung wanted to get back into his old car business. This time he thought of doing something more than just car repair. In 1967, he started the Hyundai Motor Company. Very soon, Hyundai entered into a partnership with the Ford company. Ford's Cortina car was famous in the market at that time. Therefore, Hyundai made an agreement that they would use Ford's technology to assemble the Cortina car and sell it in South Korea as a Hyundai version. This agreement was quite successful and Hyundai also made a lot of progress from it. But the South Korean car market was quite small. According to an estimate, there was only a market of 30,000 cars and there were very few chances of growth in it. Therefore, Hyundai wanted to export this car internationally, but Ford had a disagreement with Ford, who said that our agreement was only for the South Korean market and Hyundai could not export it, and that is why the partnership between Ford and Hyundai broke down. Immediately after the deal broke down, Chung started looking for a new partner and soon signed an agreement with Mitsubishi Motors. Mitsubishi was now ready to provide Hyundai with car production technology. After this deal, Hyundai produced its first car, which was named the Hyundai Pony. The price of this car was very low, but it was its price that made the Hyundai Pony famous in the market, and it soon made Hyundai the largest car company in South Korea. As we mentioned earlier, the South Korean car market was very small at that time, so there was not much chance of growth there. Hyundai started exporting the Pony internationally. This car was successful in many countries, such as Canada. However, Hyundai wanted to launch it in the largest car market, the USA, but due to the fact that it did not meet the federal emission standards of the USA rejected this car. Chung refused and made further improvements to the car, and finally, meeting the standards, it was launched in the USA. This improved version of the Hyundai Pony was introduced in the USA under the name of the Hyundai Excel. The price of this car was about $5,000, which was almost half the price of other cars. So this car started selling quickly in the USA right from the beginning. Hyundai Motors' profits had now reached the sky because their business now extended from South Korea to the USA. It had spread because it was so cheap that people started making fun of it, saying that if you fill the fuel tank in a Hyundai Excel, the value of the car doubles. While its price was high, its quality was not as good as other cars in America, and people had to get it repaired repeatedly. Soon the Hyundai Excel flopped badly in America. Not giving up, Hyundai started working harder and started introducing new models along with its engines and parts. These new models started making a name for themselves in other countries including America. This time their quality was also good and it was affordable, so customers were also happy with them. Soon Hyundai started to be counted among the world's major car companies. Chung Ju-yung, who had started his journey by selling rice, had now become the owner of a successful multinational company. Due to old age, his health was no longer good, so he retired and handed over the company to his sons. Chung died in 2001, leaving behind the world's third largest car manufacturing company. But there are some facts related to Hyundai that you may not have known before. The Hyundai logo does not show the first character H of Hyundai, but rather two people shaking hands, one a company representative and the other a satisfied customer. Hyundai's manufacturing plant in Ulsan is the largest in the world, capable of producing 1.5 million vehicles annually, and worldwide Hyundai produces more than 6 million vehicles per year. I hope you will like and share this video of Past Empires. Thank you very much for your loving comments. I will see you in the next wonderful video.